Hey everyone, it's Michael Caraccio again with another episode of Just My Honest Opinion. Right now it's after midnight. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning actually on Monday, November 4th. Um, I was going to do this sooner. We have a little over a day before polls open and such. About 24 hours before the election here in the United States is about to take place. I'm sure there's been great expectation by most of the United States citizens for this. It is hotly contested. I'm sure everybody will agree on that. Um, there has been, if you haven't heard, record turnout for early voting. That is in the states that have it. Um, I know I've voiced my opinion and stuff on previously on early voting. I mean, it's understandable why some people like early voting. My personal, like I have said, my personal preference and stuff is election day, which I will be putting in my vote. Um, Reason I'm not too big on the early voting and such. Again, it becomes a thing of, uh, like I said, it's more of a preference, and you understand. I'm sure everybody has their reasons, but I look at it as I want to have that, last day. Absolutely going to uh, give my vote, have my voiced choice of candidates of who I want to run the country, and it should be on the last day because if I feel that if I had if I vote too soon and then something comes out that makes me lose faith in the candidate that I had cast my vote for, I'm probably going to be less likely to actually go back to try to change my vote because that can become complicated in and of itself in that process. And if it's just the last day, all the noise is stopped and everything, and it's up to the American people to vote, to cast their vote for their uh, candidate who they prefer to, run things. Um, I think you have, all the information that you're going to get, all of the, like I said, the noise stops. So, um, yeah, the title of this, I didn't mention it and stuff, of this episode is Are You Ready to Vote? Um, for a reason. I know I've had my several previous videos and such have been reasons of, well, the purpose of them was to, trying to feel some people out, put it out there and such on trying to. Yeah, I know I wouldn't say I'm trying to sway people um, to vote for my personal preference. My personal preference is President Trump. Um, I don't have to marry the guy. I know there's the whole, a lot of people like, I don't like him and his personality conflicts or what have you. Um, my purpose, my ability, I guess, to put that aside and look at actually the body of work that he did as president, uh, aside from what I would even say is character flaws in certain things he says and how he handles certain things when he's kind of punching back at opponents of his or critics of his and such with you want to say his name calling. Again, I'm going to reiterate. There's times that I've rolled my eyes at some of the things that he has said. Um, that I kind of went, you could have put it better, or was that really called for, kind of thing. Oh, sorry. But I was also brought up with two wrongs don't make a right. So if they're calling his names, why do you have to call names back? Rise above it. But at the same time, I also know that and completely understand the political arena and stuff can get ugly and such. And if you don't hit back, they're just going to keep hitting you. So I do appreciate the fact that he tries to, at least in my eyes, he does try to contain, the let's just say, who he sets his sights on, with his criticism, his harsh language, if you want to say, if the name calling. He does, I would have to say, a pretty good job in the political arena and stuff to just maintain it at the target, like a Joe Biden or you know Kamala Harris. Uh, you know, questioning her intelligence, questioning her abilities and such. He's not kind of what I would call shotgunning it, as scattergunning it and trying to blast absolutely everybody. On the other hand, I do have to say, uh, particularly it's with the recent events and what has occurred and such, I can honestly say that it doesn't look like the Democratic Party and the supporting cast for Harris for president and stuff has done the same thing. They definitely, going back to Hillary Clinton running for president and such. I'm sure everybody has heard it on the talking heads and stuff. It's like back then, Hillary was calling Trump supporters deplorables, and now we're garbage, as Biden put it. And whether you want to put an apostrophe on it or say, oh, it was a misspeak or whatever, um, I, because I've been paying attention the way I have with all of this, um, I you would have to admit that um, the Democratic Party and the supporters of Biden, Harris, uh, um, Pelosi, you can run down their entire lineup. They have been more attack anybody and everybody on the other side of the aisle. Not just the people uh, who are the faces of the Republican Party, from Donald Trump straight down, but again, they go pretty critical and we'll say I'm going to be nice right now because I'm sure I'm going to rev up a little in this. Um, they have gone pretty critical and direct and such to badmouth the supporters or the people who uh, are for Donald Trump or Republicans or such. And it's been pretty horrendous in my opinion. If you want to be in the political arena and trade body blows and headshots and such, pardon the headshots part, uh, based on I don't want I don't want to make it out to be any I'm not looking for anybody to have an assassination attempt in case you want to twist those words. But I'm saying in the arena that you want to end up in the political arena, you want to just punch away at each other. You should and contain it to the ring. But uh, Governor Hochul out of New York, only today and such, was basically saying, you vote for Trump, you're against women, you're against, you know, you're against America. Basically, yeah, that's just, if you want to sit there and go, well, that's just political talk. In and of itself, it was the first time something like that was said over the last, I don't know, month or two or a couple of years. I would agree with you. However, I can't at this point because it's been going on, like I said, pretty much since Hillary ran for office. the whole deplorables thing. And if you want to go back and watch that video when she, first said it and stuff, the condescending, snobbish way that she put it and such, I mean, you have to agree and stuff that she was, we're better than them, like those people kind of thing. And gonna make me, lose my shit in a sense, pardon my language. Uh, but it's been a never ending thing from the Democrats towards anybody else, which primarily is Republican. And again, I am not a registered Republican. I'm a undeclared, aka an independent. Um, so it's not like I'm sitting there going, you can't say that against my political party. It's just that I happen to be more in line with the beliefs of the Republican Party and such. I don't believe in everything that they have done and want to do and all of that and such, but I definitely can say a majority of what they have going on and such, I definitely agree with. Um, President Trump, like I said, delivering the message, the name calling stuff. You know what? Some of it is justified because I feel that there are certain things that have come out of the, Democratic Party participants in the legal aspect and stuff have been stupid, have been nonsensical, and quite honestly, if I was more of a Democratic Party person, I would have been offended by them a long time ago because it just seems that they have a an opinion of Americans in generally, and it just their supporters, the people in their camp. If you're watching this and you're consider yourself a Democrat and you're all blue, um, they treat you stupid. And if you don't realize they're treating you stupid, then you're not paying attention. And that's a damn shame in my book. I'm not calling you stupid. I don't think that does anybody any good by calling people stupid. I mean, yeah, some people aren't as educated or informed as others and such. That's one thing. The stupid people, but I will say the stupid people are, in my opinion, is the ones that are willfully ignorant. And willfully ignorant means that you can have your opinion and stuff, but if you end up having new facts, I know if you've seen some of my other videos, I'm repeating myself because I do. I believe in it. It's a thing of if you're not willing to have an open enough mind to be able to even turn around and say, I was wrong, your mind isn't open enough. That if somebody presents you with facts that might go against your beliefs, might go against your, you know, current opinion, or might actually alter it and stuff. There's nothing wrong with changing your mind. There's nothing wrong with changing your opinion, even softening your opinion. You may not be as hard because you end up with new information. You can even turn around. You can't ignore and just discard new factual information and stuff and turn around and say, I don't care that, the sun comes up in the east and sets in the west. I know that it rises in the west and sets in the east, for instance. It's that kind of a thing. I immediately go into a thing of then you don't want to be open minded. You're just, going to go against truth. And I've also voiced, I think, several times uh my frustration and this and quite honestly it's a disdain and stuff for that phrase that was created by liberals of well, this is my truth. There's the truth. You may have your story, you have your opinion and such, but I wouldn't call it truth. And I am a person who uh yeah, sometimes I don't even speak well in a sense. Uh, and my vocabulary may not be as expansive as somebody that's, gone to Oxford. But I look at it as a thing of is that there is value in words and there is meaning, a lot of meaning in the words that you use. You don't say, I hate, if you don't hate. You might be disappointed, you might be upset, but it doesn't mean you hate. Um, then again, there are times and such that hate is the appropriate word to use. I'm not trying to give anybody a lecture on that. I mean, I again, I'll take anybody's opinion and their perspective on anything that I say in any of my videos. This one. Um, but the simple fact is, and such is that I had grown to pay it very close attention and stuff to the words that people use, and I do. It's not that I try to hold their feet to the fire on it, but the thing is that I do end up looking for clarification so that I can make sure that I'm understanding someone else by turning around and doing. I think what they call is an echo method, an active listening, which is, if I understand you correctly, this is what you're saying, and I try to repeat back to them, not so much word for word what they said, but how I'm understanding what well, you said this, and I want to make sure because this is how I'm understanding it, and it might be a thing that I might be misunderstanding something, or a word that was used, I have a different understanding of what that word is. So I kind of always try to look for not only getting myself educated, but the thing is maybe having the other person get educated on who I am and how I process information in that sense, so that I can have that understanding. I'm not going to say that I don't, use my abilities and stuff for only good and never evil and such, but I have had times and stuff needed to, we'll say, get down in the mud with people because no matter how much I tried to say, listen, let's just have a discussion or whatever and stuff, that I haven't dove into the mud, uh, used their words against them and stuff, basically, and yeah, at times and stuff, probably frustrated them and such. And then gone and said, hey, I didn't want to get down in the mud, but you insisted. I know how to get back to the high road because that's where I tried to be to begin with, and you just didn't want to come. Uh, so now you know a little bit more about me that happens. I hope I never, I don't try to use it, you know, I don't try to draw it like I'm in the Old West and try to be the quickest gun and do that because I really do. I try to understand people and points of view and such. Um, with that said, um, if you have uh, voted already, of course, my hope is and such is that you have voted early and you voted for Donald Trump because I do feel he is the best candidate to help uh, to do good things for our country and to get us on a track that is back on uh, for the benefit of all. And that's not me just, saying this is what I believe because he said so. I mean, there is substance to the saying of, you know, were you better off 4 years ago? And I was. And I'm sure a lot of you were. Even before I started this video, I had done a quick check on the CPI, Consumer Price Index, comparison of the value of a dollar, basically. Now, as opposed, you know, well, sorry, when Donald Trump pretty much finished his presidential term to present day, and the comparison is now at 21%. It was 20%. Um, if you go out to the government website, um, I forgot what it is already. But if you do, you just kind of will see it for yourself. I'm not making it up. It's what I do. I research it and such, and make sure I have my I's dotted and T's crossed. And honestly, as of September, because that's the last that they have. They don't even have October's numbers ready yet. But the CPI basically is saying that what you could buy for $100 in 2020 is now going to cost you over $121, by a little bit, or it's going to cost you $121 to buy it now. Um, so again, I use those things to prove the point and such that people say, oh, it isn't as bad as you think it is. And who's mainly saying that and stuff? It's all, the Biden administration. It's the Harris administration. It's Democrats. They're all saying, the economy is not as bad as you thought it was. If you haven't heard, also the employment numbers came out a couple of days ago, and they were horribly awful. Um, for the size of America and how as good as we should be doing with our republic, the fact that our economy was only able to generate or create only 12,000 jobs is a terrible thing. Couple that, if you weren't aware, you can always look it up and such. I want to be able to bring this onto my videos more. I know I started out doing it. I didn't do it today, but with the only 12,000 jobs created for our economy, the actual downscaling the previous month's numbers over the last couple of months. I think there was also an additional 100,000 last month, and there was other. But the thing is that the numbers were had to be deflated, readjusted, and they were adjusted downward, which means that they did not create as many jobs as they had reported in September, August, July. So you can kind of go out there and find out and stuff that while they were running around, shouting from the mountaintops how great the economy was doing because all the jobs they created, they had quietly had to adjust the numbers down to say, oh, no, that wasn't it. It was something else. But, again, it becomes a thing of, move on. Don't pay attention to that. Now that we're going into the election on Tuesday, tomorrow, it doesn't make things any better to look at. And if you ended up voting for Trump, I'm sure you feel a little better about yourself. I know I'm going to feel better about myself voting for him because I feel the economy is going to be better under him. He does have an idea of what he's doing. He proved that when in his 4 years, even with all of the chaos and mayhem that was being created, some of the stuff he was shooting himself in the foot, but a majority of the major stuff was created by the Democrats and the Democratic Party. If you don't believe that, or that's your choice. It doesn't make it fact. If you go over what occurred for the 4 years of his presidential term, again, the Russia collusion and all the other nonsense that they were pulling to, of garbage of trying to get him impeached at all costs, is how I looked at it. It was not. It was a distraction. It was. They were more interested in not the, which what to me should always be. It doesn't matter if it's your guy or not. Everybody should want whoever the president is that's sitting in the Oval Office and stuff success, because if he's not succeeding, the country is succeeding. Look at what has happened in the last 4 years with Biden and Harris. Our country is not succeeding. We're not succeeding, domestically. We're not succeeding in foreign affairs. We're not able to keep a war from happening, and they keep ramping up the wars that are occurring, whether it's the Russian Ukraine or Israel against Hamas and Hezbollah, or we'll just, the Iranian proxies. We're just not able to do, and we should. I mean, we should be the lone superpower that we are. We're the last. We should not be trying to lower ourselves to not be a super party and being like everybody else. We're supposed to be the bright, shining light on the hill that other people, other countries, and should inspire to emulate our better qualities, or even have people want their lives to more resemble in the freedom and uh, you know uh, freedoms and all of the things that we are proud of of our country, and also even viewing our mistakes and how we work hard to fix them. That's part of our heritage is to try to become a more perfect union. We kind of really started out, and we are a great country and stuff. And again, our liberties, we're real close to losing them at this point. I really would wish that people who are considering Harris and voting for her on Tuesday, or even later today, if they're still doing early. I don't think anybody's doing early anymore. I could be wrong, but if you're planning on voting on Tuesday and you're even considering Harris, I still wish you would reconsider. Look at her body of work. I mean, over her entire career. But if you just want to go on, start with when she started to really get into the uh, limelight there in about 2019, and just look at all the things that she believed in and said that she was for all along. Um, I really believe that it should make you reconsider. Um, I know I've stated a couple of times in the past, uh, is don't just go with one single thing that you agree on her with. And I'm using again the example because it seems that it's one of the main things that the Democratic Party and Harris and whatever is saying that they're running on is the whole abortion issue. Um, I believe me, I can understand if you feel that strongly about that one issue. I can only give you a different perspective on the not on the abortion issue. I have another video. You should watch that again. If you haven't watched it yet, please do. I try to really hit the two sides of it. But the thing is that if you're going, well, I'm going to vote for her because abortion's important to me and stuff, it could be important to you. But I know I've said and stuff, you got to take the whole package. You can't turn around and just pin it on, well, I voted for her for abortion because she's going to, everything else doesn't matter. It does. You're kidding yourself. Um, I, want to definitely, have everybody understand. You don't vote for a candidate because you like the way they part their hair and they smile nice. Um, they could be a wolf in sheep's clothing, and they could really screw things up. Um, I think Joe Biden, the people that supported him, has proven that. Um, again, I'm a not going to get in depth and stuff into the 2020 election and such, but I do want to, bring. Uh, I will be addressing that in a sense. I don't want to get into uh, the deep weeds on that and such. I'll save that for another video. But my point is our country's had turned into a real shit show when they put him in the chair in the Oval Office, and there was Harris being, as she self-proclaimed, the last person in the in the room with him when he was making decisions and with deciding policy and such. If you want to sit there and go, well, you want somebody like Harrison there to restore abortion, however the hell you want it. I think where it is about the best anybody could expect, and just let each state decide on how they want to handle abortion. Um, let the Supreme Court and stuff make sure that all the states are doing it within uh, the guidelines of our Constitution, and it's not being used in this to discriminate against anybody or such. But the biggest thing is that if abortion's your only issue that you're voting on Harrison stuff, you're not you're selling your own yourself short. You're selling your vote short. It is important. Your vote is important, but you have to also understand someone like me. I'm going to say, no, not like me. You know what? I'm not going to speak for anybody. I'm going to speak for myself. To me, you have to take responsibility and stuff for everything else that comes in the package. You can't just select one issue and say, oh, I voted for that person because they were going to make abortion illegal the way I like it to be legal, and all the other stuff I don't care about. And it's like, no, you have to care, because you got to, like I said, take the whole package. Um, you, and if I was to have this video and such, just going back in time, uh, as in to give everybody an example, it would be back before the 2020 election, and go, okay, you know what? If you are voting for Biden and Harris because of one issue, you got to take responsibility for anything else they do. And I would have told you that then, and I'm going to tell you that now. You have to take responsibility for everything else if you're only going to do the one issue thing and say, it's just about abortion for me. Because the people, in my opinion, in 2020 and such, voting for the Democratic ticket and doing that and stuff, you have to take responsibility for the 13 soldiers that were killed in Afghanistan during that evacuation, because that was a Biden-Harris decision. You have to take responsibility for the horrendous response to, what was that again? I'm trying to remember. East Palestine. I forget how they pronounced it. It's written like Palestine, Ohio, with the train derailment. That happened, I don't know what, 2023. 2023, yeah. I think it happened early 2023. Like, the response there, those people are still, fighting. So you have to take like the whole administration. You got to take responsibility for the people that are like, are they the most qualified for the position? And I'm sorry to say and stuff, but based on how the administration has performed since they were put in office, the Democrat Biden-Harris administration, which means them and everybody they have in their cabinet and everybody that's working for them, in a sense, that they brought in with them, have been terrible. Our economy's lousy. People are suffering. I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible out there. It's worse than it was 4 years ago. During Trump's term and such, we were doing so much better. The progression of inflation against the dollar, again, as a recap, and you can check on it again. Go out to the government site there, looking up the CPI. You do the comparison, $100 as of January of 2017 when he started, through December of 2020. The dollar really, what you bought for $100 in January of 2017 was only about 7% more, which means only $7 more. You could buy the same things for only about $7 more. You didn't feel it. I mean, nobody wants inflation. I mean, it would be great if, like, we could still buy, the same stuff that we bought in the 50s and stuff for $100 today. I'm sure everybody would be ecstatic. But how that account, the economy works, and all of that, the financial economics of it, um, it does, it happens. It's been happening for a very long time. However, 4 years under Trump, 7%. 4 years, we're not even done with yet under Biden and Harris, 21%, 3 times as much. And you can't blame it on COVID, and you can't blame it on anybody else but them. Their decisions to pump so much money into the economy on, what they called the Inflation Reduction Act, like practically when they got into office. Only a couple of months ago it came out that, yeah, they admitted and stuff, that was the Green New Deal. Basically, that's the foundation of the Green New Deal, is what they approved. It wasn't to help the common people, it was to fund their Green New Deal agenda, and it's hurting everybody. um that's not how things should be. That's foolish. It was foolish. They just printed out money, and they think they can just keep printing the money, and we're just going to continue to print money and print money and print some more money. um as a heads up for you, you might want to go and do some research and look it up yourself. But there was a country that did a similar thing, that just continued to print money and print money until, yeah, they ended up with so much paper money and such that their money became worthless. And it really did a job on that country's economy. And the things were so bad that an individual ended up rising up through the political ranks, and while the country was suffering, he was able to come up through the political ranks, blame the entire situation not only on the current administration that they had, but also on a group of people in the country, mainly focused on them, and said, we'd be in better shape if it wasn't for, those people. And they really, he really tore ass, and it was a lot of people, because they were willing to listen to him. But like, yeah, 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 hate those people, hate the government, hate who's running our government, the whole thing. We'll follow you, we'll follow you, and they basically followed him blindly. Um, I'm sure some of you already might have figured out who I'm talking about. If you haven't, it happened in the late 1920s, early 1930s, and it was Adolf Hitler. And it's what happened in Germany. The um, Deutschmark, I believe it was Deutschmark, um, they had printed out so much. I mean, I think there's actually, if there aren't just pictures, there might be videos and such, that the kids used to take bundles of printed money, printed money, printed money, that it had such little value that they were burning it in the streets for fun. That's how useless their currency became. But it was the starting point of getting Nazism going in Germany back then. Look it up if you think I'm lying. And if you that's why the saying of, if we don't study history, we're doomed to repeat it. Um, we kind of started doing that. If you haven't noticed, we printed out so much money. That's how come inflation shot up so high. There's just too many dollars out there, and we did it to ourselves. And we're also just handing out money to the rest of the world, that we have dollars even globally that are going out there, that are going to circulate around. We just have too much money out there, and that's why I feel that we're not spending the money in the best way possible. Not only for us, but yes, for the rest of the world. But um, you might want to look up an article or two. Even with Forbes, I believe, had a couple of articles out there and stuff about the potential. I don't think we've ever been as close as we are right now to not only World War III with everything going on, but also uh, uh, the world economy, uh, you know, um, not using the U.S. dollar as, you know, the standard. Um, and if that happens, we're really going to be in some economic trouble in this country if everybody decides to disconnect from the U.S. dollar. That's part of what our dollar strength was, and has, been over our history. That's what's, you know really made us the superpower that we are and the great country that we are, and that value. And that's how come we were actually able to help so many countries, particularly after World War II and such, uh, to help them recover. And pick a country, any country, when they have disasters, hurricane storms or whatever and such, it's the U.S. dollar that has helped them. They didn't go running for the yen. They didn't go running for the ruble, over in the Soviet Union. They came to America. They needed money from America to help. And the thing is that us as a generous country, of course, we was shelling out the money. Um, However, we've now, had such a debacle of creating and printing money and such on, things that we were lied to. If you don't know, we were lied to. We were, like I said, the Inflation Reduction Act was actually the new, like I said, the foundation of the Green New Deal. It wasn't intended to bring inflation down. It only inflamed it, and that's why things were getting more expensive, and that's why they're still more expensive. They can talk about how inflation has gone down. No, the rate of inflation has gone down. Prices really haven't gone down. We're still paying too damn much. We're definitely paying more than we were paying 4 years ago. 21% more. Um, that's how the CPI works. That's what the government is telling us, not what the politicians are telling us, but the government is telling us. Um, so if you are thinking about, please, again, you have to take responsibility uh, for everything. If you're going to vote just based on one topic or one issue, you're going to have to take responsibility for everything else, and you're doing it willingly. You're doing it consciously. Um, the Afghan thing and 13 soldiers dying and such because of that, embarrassment. Uh, Sorry, you're going to have to say, yeah, that's okay. If you vote for Harris now and stuff, you're saying it's okay. That kind of thing is okay. And if they do it again, it's going to be acceptable to you. Um, the condition of and the security of our southern border in particular, all the people that are coming across that are utilizing our tax dollars, that they're just being handed, the tax dollars are being handed to them. They're collecting, they're being put up in hotels and stuff. We got veterans, whether they're from Vietnam veterans, they're veterans from Desert Storm, guys that have been serving since 9/11, and coming back. There's veterans out there, and they're the ones that defend our country. To keep the bad guys out, and keep the bad guys in check. If you find that to be acceptable, and then somebody just comes over our border and such and walks into our house and decides that, what, take care of me, I'm sorry. You're part of that problem too. If you think, if you I'm sorry to say, but Harris is part of the administration that allowed that to happen. Those were not Trump t-shirts they were wearing when they started flooding over. Go back and look. They were wearing those Biden shirts, and oh, thank you, President Biden. You're the greatest guy. Where do I pick up my money? And you have to understand. I'm not sitting here saying immigrants are bad. I'm not sitting here saying immigration is bad. It's the illegal immigration. I can't reiterate that enough. I know I've made the reference before. You have to consider the United States is your home. You want people to come up to your home's door and knock, ring the doorbell, and be invited in. To not come in and raid your refrigerator and rearrange your furniture and, I don't know, throw family heirlooms out and tell you that, they don't like the pictures that are on the wall or the color of the paint or whatever your wallpaper is and such. If I came into your house and started just redecorating and throwing out stuff and put my feet up on your couch and, doing whatever the hell I feel like in your house and stuff, you want to strangle me, especially if you didn't invite me. I rang, didn't even ring the doorbell. I just kicked the damn thing in and I walked in. It's that kind of a thing. And if you're not looking at it that from that perspective, then I feel sorry for you. But at the same time, you're people like you frustrate the hell out of me, because that's how you should be looking at it. We're not talking about not having anybody ever come into this country from somewhere else. The ridiculous arguments that I've seen out on social media and I see on TV and stuff of people turning around and saying, oh, you were an illegal immigrant too. And what about the indigenous people? And it's like, look, it's ridiculous because even evolution and stuff. I mean, it's like to turn around and say, sorry, I freaking evolved the way I did and stuff, and like Cro-Magnon man didn't, evolve the way it's, I'm sorry and stuff. I wasn't there when to warn the dinosaurs to get out of the way of the freaking meteor that took them out. I mean, that's just kind of like, I know I'm sounding ridiculous on that, but it's that kind of a thing for me. It's ridiculous. If we didn't have the country we had, most of the technology we have out there and stuff came from this country. The inventions, the progress that we shared with the world and stuff to improve the health and the life, improve the living conditions and everything. I mean, it happened in other countries too, but I mean, that's one of the things. Go look at it. Go take a look at our history, the things that we did right, that bettered the world. We did it. To turn around and what do you want to do? Turn back the time and not have the Western European people come over on the Mayflower or whatever, or hit Plymouth Rock? Leave the indigenous people. And it's nothing against who was here before us, but you can't go back and do it over again. You can't. And I feel that's what the thinking is. It's like, well, we didn't have a chance to discover America. It's because some white guy did it. But if my country had or my nationality had a chance and stuff to discover, they would have gotten there first. So now, like, this is the opportunity to take it over. Yeah, no, no. You're trying to rewrite history. You're trying to, I don't know. For people who call themselves progressives and stuff, you sure want to take a big step back, and then like I said, you want illegal aliens to come, illegal immigrants come into this country and stuff to make themselves at home and stuff on a home they didn't build. Yeah, we made ourselves at home but we did what we did. I mean, I'm saying we, as an American, I'm saying. I'm a second generation Italian American. So, my grandparents didn't come over here until, early 1900s. I'm a second generation Italian. My parents were first generation. They were born here. I'm a second generation. So I kind of go, I wasn't here for all the previous stuff. I wasn't here for, the Vikings when they discovered. What do you want me to tell you? I'm not going to take responsibility for the bad things and such if I wasn't there for it. You know, I'm glad that we don't have some of the bad stuff going on. I mean, back in England, I know there was a, what do they call it? I forget what they actually called it and stuff, but it had to do with first night, that they were trying to, you know, thin out, we'll say, the Scottish folks and stuff, and whoever the English nobleman was of controlling the Scottish villages and stuff would claim first night, and they would, when the Scottish couple got married, the English noble got to lay with the bride on the first night of their marriage and such, and basically was trying to thin out their heritage and everything and such by impregnating them with, English blood. I'm sure the English aren't sitting there puffing out their chests saying, "Yeah, that was us. We're really happy that we did that." No, over time and stuff, they didn't. You know, maybe there are still ones that are proud of it and such, but it doesn't go on anymore, and that's for sure, and that's progress. It was wrong. It was flat out wrong. But like I say, it's the biggest thing. You're gonna have to take all of the just wrap your arms around it if you're gonna vote for Harris, and you got to take responsibility for it all. You're saying that what has happened in the last 4 years in that administration, in our administration, God, the sex trafficking. Yeah, you're gonna have to take responsibility for it. You put the people into power, um, who allowed that. That's on you. And I think the most I'm going to end up saying and stuff is what I'm bringing up here and such. This is the results from the 2020 presidential uh, election, and you see there, good old Scranton Joe got supposedly his 81 million plus people. It's one of those things that I'm kind of paying attention to and stuff, particularly in this election. Uh, if those numbers are true, okay, I still have doubts, but like I said, I'll save that for another time. But I'm willing to say, okay, there was 81 million people. My brief thing on that is that I would hate to think that there were 81 million Americans that looked at nothing more than hate for Donald Trump in making their decision of who was going to run this country. I would like to think that they loved the country more than that, um, in order not to. Yeah, but like I said, it's that kind of a thing for me. It's just I would hate to think that 81 million people and stuff hated another guy instead of looking at what was best for the country. Then that's not party over country. That's hate over country. That's even worse to me. But anyway, the reason why I brought these numbers up and stuff is kind of along the lines of, as uh, I feel the political environment is in our country right now as at a fever pitch. I think we're going to see similar numbers. That what is that? 150 million, 155 million plus people voted according to this in the 2020 election. I think it's very possible that we will have the same types of numbers, possibly even above those. Um, if I was to turn around and say, for my purposes and such, uh, I don't know if that 81 million people, Americans, are going to take credit, take responsibility for the last 4 years and everything that has occurred in it. So I definitely feel that I don't think Harris is going to get 81 million or more people to say, yep, everything that happened in the last 4 years, absolutely, I agreed with. how the economy was blown up, and how women, mothers, daughters, sisters have been murdered by illegal immigrants. Uh, I mean, I can't see them turning around and saying that. To me, it's a thing of a vote for Harris right now is a vote for approving everything that happened up to this point, because she was the last person in the room. She's part of the administration. She is, you know, part of what happened. And again, a couple of times and stuff, if you didn't see it, I'm letting you know. You can go out and look for it and stuff. She was asked, would you have done anything different? And she said, no, can't think of a damn thing. That's why I'm saying you got to take responsibility. I understand if you have a something that, you know, has you really wanting to vote for them for, because you have that one issue, you're going to have to take it all. Uh, on the other hand, when it comes to President Trump, because of the job he did in bringing everybody up at the same time, I mean, minorities, you name it, I feel that he's should, and again, this is my guesstimate, he should be starting with 74 million uh, votes, and he can only go up from there. Um, I can't see anybody that voted for him back in 2020 turning around and saying, you know what, we had such a good 4 years. I'm going to vote for Harris. So my personal opinion is he's starting out with 74 million votes. And uh, again, I think there will be a certain level of we'll call it, or it has been called, the buyer's remorse. I think there are going to be those folks that are either not going to vote at all for Harris and just going to stay home, who voted for Biden previously, or they voted for Biden and stuff and have kind of turned around and said, yeah, I didn't do it the right way then, back in 2020. And they are. I'm not saying that they're not patriots. They're patriots as far as I'm concerned. Even if they don't agree with me and stuff, they have their reasons and how they love this country, too. And I think that they're going to see that President Trump is the better option than Harris, just strictly based on Harris's own actions, Harrison's own things that have come out of her mouth, even the when you can make sense of it. Uh, but the fact is, and such is that she has flip flopped, and they say, "Oh, she's flip flopped." I think she's lying. I think she's just trying to say what she has to say in order to get herself back into the get her to get a promotion and get into the White House, and then she's just going to do all of the things she was talking about that she was going to do back in 2019. She's going to end fracking. She's going to drive home the Green New Deal all the way, which is going to just, try to get work on passing more legislation or even executive orders and such that is just going to print more money and going to make inflation go even higher. Um, she's not going to be able to handle hostile world leaders. We're talking about Xi from China. We're talking about Putin in Russia. I mean, they're going to laugh at her. She has problems enough and stuff trying to make sense when she's asked to go. She couldn't handle. She wasn't handling. She hasn't been handling friendly reporters and interviews them well. Again, I can just only. I would. God forbid she ends up being the president and stuff. I would want to be a fly on the wall to see how she reacts and stuff, sitting in a room with the leader from China or the president of Russia and stuff, and negotiate anything. Uh, you know, listen to how they talk to her and stuff, and then listen to her responses. God forbid. I mean, if you think that I'm being, this is coming from a place of misogyny, you're wrong. If you're a Democrat and you want to sit there and go, oh, what do you have, Mike? You have a problem with having a woman president? No, no, quite honestly, no. She's just not it. And I'll tell you this right now. I said, as articulate and everything as Obama was, I had no problems and stuff with having a black president. Problem was is that I didn't think he was the black guy that should have been there. I'm sure there were many other there could have been better uh, uh, candidates for him when he ran. I was like, no. He came to me across to me and such like he was a con man. He was just selling a bill of goods. That's all he was, and he did. He started all of this quote unquote change in a sense, and it's not like changes. I'm against change. It's what he was changing this country into is what we've now become, what we're now living with. He was the catalyst that started the ball rolling towards having Harris and Biden in the seats of power, and have screwed things up because they're trying to globalize the United States, and they're diminishing it. And I think that's their purpose. I'm sorry to say. I know my last video, maybe a video before that and stuff, I had said, hey, Democrats, you got to get control of your party again. Yeah, I'll put it to you this way and stuff. I was listening and willing to consider Tulsi Gabbard. You had Tulsi Gabbard in 2019. I listened to her. I liked some of the things that she was saying. I was actually, really paying attention to her and stuff because I was considering her over Trump. But guess what? You lost her because she was even turning around and saying this Democratic Party is not the one I signed up for. And she doesn't know where the hell it was going. And yeah, we've now seen where it's going. And that's why I'm saying, you Democrats, you want a strong company and a strong country. And I know this has gone on for an hour and such. And I do truly appreciate everybody looking at this. But like I said, I think you're gonna be really surprised. Quite honestly, I'll be surprised if Harris is able to get those 81 million to vote for her and such. But I think Trump is starting out with the 74 million basically, and it's going to be up to Harris to see if she can even start approaching that 81 million because I think the Democratic Party has lost a bunch of that 81 if those numbers were truthful. And like I said, I still have my doubts, but for the sake of this video and argument and stuff, I'll say yes, they were true. And if that's what it was, I don't see 81 million Democrats, independents, or anybody else voting for Harris to continue on the path that we're on. It just doesn't make sense. I don't care what the pollsters are saying, how razor thin the uh, election is with the polls, because again, they have the polls and stuff that show over 70% and stuff of the Americans think we're headed in the wrong direction. I don't know how again, I have faith in the American people that the country matters. And the thing is I wish I would have gotten more into it. I know I'm like at my hour limit here. I don't want to, but one of the things is that you have to think about founding fathers. They weren't all just lawyers or professional politicians. They did other things. They were businessmen. They were running farms. They did other things. And that's what our country needs, believe it or not. That's why I felt Trump was the right man. The thing is that he was a businessman. Um, Regardless of how you feel about him, you have to admit, I mean, he was a businessman. He was not a professional politician. Joe Biden was a professional politician. Uh, Harris is a professional politician. In comparison, absolutely. The thing is that my overall feeling about the country and what I think it's supposed to do, it's supposed to break even. It's not. It needs to be run like a business, but it's supposed to be breaking even, and it's supposed to improve itself for the people in that business and such. That's the product. better citizens. That's the product it's supposed to produce, and it's supposed to break even. If it comes out ahead of something, great. That means you have money to do a good thing with. But basically, it's not supposed to raise taxes and stuff to just frivolously pay things and just create, you know, nonsensical things, which doesn't help everybody. Everybody shouldn't get everything they want in that sense. I just want you to understand. That's why I feel a businessman needed to be here, and he did. He did a great job for 4 years. Everybody was feeling better economically in their lives. People were becoming employed. People were getting off of, you know, to be honest with you, the government tit, uh, you know, and that was a good thing, regardless of all the other crap that the Democrats were trying to do to the guy. I mean, things were better. And that's what I think we need again. He needs to put everything back where the hell it was, and you're going to feel better about the country, and we're all going to be doing better. That's how I think a lot of the minorities are getting on board with him. That's why, uh, like a Tulsi Gabbard and stuff, left the Democratic Party, became an independent, and then has decided, you know what, I like where the Republicans are going because they're being so more inclusive. And you have to admit that I hate to say it and stuff. You don't like Trump, but he's the guy that put that in place. He's the guy that was getting the Republican Party to understand this is about Americans. It's not about genders, and it's not about the color of your skin, and it's not about all of that. We're Americans, and that's what we have to be focused on first. That's what we have to get everybody to understand. You want to go talk about a path forward? That's the path forward. You want to talk about change? That's the change that's been happening. We're not as racist as the Democrats made us out to be. We want everybody to be, better. But you got to want to be better. Not just handed to be better. Everybody can't be on the same path or on the same rung of the ladder and wait for everybody else to take the same step that they're taking. We're going to end up with a whole bunch of, influencers. Nobody's going to make anything. We're not going to have farmers, firemen, policemen, soldiers. No, everybody wants to be an influencer. So we all end up going to the same place at the same time. No, no, no. That isn't America. America is, some people want to live in their nice, they're in some sort of solitude in their trailer park. Some want to live in mansions. Some people want to live somewhere in the middle of that. They should be allowed to. And they shouldn't have them, other people looking their nose down at them. If that's all you guys, that's as far as you want to go. That's as far as you want to go. That's fine. That should be okay. And again, it becomes a thing of personal responsibility. Okay. I ran over, I know, a little bit. I'm a little over an hour, but I do appreciate is I emphasize, please get out there and vote, but be an educated person voting. Don't be a hateful person voting. Um, Understand that the country is at a critical point, and like I said, I hope you make the right decision. I don't think Harris is the right decision. I think you put Trump in the White House. I think that's going to be better for the country, regardless of what your political party is. But I can't tell you and such. If you look at it for nothing else and stuff, yeah, he'll make the country better and stuff, but you can take back your Democratic Party and stuff, or whatever party you're with. Find a better candidate for the next go around. He's not going to hurt this country. He's not. He's not. You may not like how he does it. I mean, everybody, kind of has a job and stuff, and you may not like your boss and stuff, but it's great when the check's still clearing and the company's successful and you have a job for, 10, 20 years or whatever. Sure, the boss is an asshole, but you know what? The company's really doing well, and I feel have a very, very comfortable living I'm making. That's kind of how you have to look at it. He's just going to be the exact. That's why they call it the executive branch. He's just going to be managing it all in a sense. He's going to come up with the ideas and everything, and all else fails and such. I mean, you still have the Congress, who's going to keep him in check. And I'll tell you this right now: if he does anything even close, that starts to even whiff of what Democrats accuse him of possibly doing. I mean, because some of the stuff they're coming out with is ridiculous. But I can tell you this right now: as a guy who's supporting him and stuff, I'll be the first one to start screaming. And I'm pretty sure anybody that's got his back and stuff right now is going to do it too. I'm going to come out with another video later today and stuff. I know it's late, for me anyway. You can watch this video anytime. I'm going to come out with another one I got. So it's going to be kind of a part 2 to this and stuff, because I do want to get off, uh, and not drag this out any longer. I do want to say I appreciate you watching this. I do see that a lot of people are viewing the videos out on Rumble and such. However, I do have to ask, practically pleading here. The most important, well, not the most important thing, but a very important thing is that I really do. I hope you're enjoying the videos. I am getting a lot of views. A lot of people are apparently watching them. But I really could use if you would register and follow the Rumble channel. I mean, right now I only have about 8 followers on my Rumble channel. I got like 54, 56 followers that ended up going out to the Facebook page, which again, I appreciate it. I am trying to make sure that I have, kind of spread out, that I have that exposure and such. But I, if you like me on Facebook, please go over to Rumble. Just register. It doesn't cost anything. It's not going to cost you a dime. It's just a matter of you become a member. You find my just my honest opinion channel, which is the JMHO, and just become a follower of it. And you'll see that I'll be posting videos up there still and everything. I really would appreciate if you could just follow and stuff. Like I said, I got like 100 views here, 100 views there on a lot of my my videos. I mean, this is going to be my 14th episode, and I'm getting traffic, and I really appreciate it. I hope you like the material. I am getting some feedback on it and such. I'll get into that another time too. But if you could, I really would appreciate it if you could. Definitely follow the channel. And here it comes again. So you can find those videos out on Rumble. There's the URL again. And then, like I said, if I get enough people to become a follower on Rumble, I'll be able to change that URL to something a little more customized. That'll be a little easier, for people to enter. And of course, I truly insist, whether you agree with or not agree with anything, your feedback, opinion is also in return is I appreciate it. I want to hear from you. If you have something you want to really get off your chest, that you don't want just broadcasted out there in a comment on Rumble, or maybe if you found me on Facebook or such, please send me an email to mjcgemini@verizon.net. Please put the JMHO in the subject so that I make sure I don't miss it. And I will read it, and definitely I will respond back to you. And even if, like I said, if it's something that you really, felt that strongly about, I will respond and maybe make a video out of your thing, or you have a suggestion of a topic that you want me to talk about. I'm planning on doing videos, yes, even beyond the election. I have a lot more on my mind. It's just a lot more ideas. It's just that with the election coming up, that's kind of prevalent in my mind, and I think it's might be out in the forefront of yours. Again, I really do appreciate some of the comments that I've gotten back from folks, and I definitely appreciate you coming to watch these. But hope you become a follower of the channel on Rumble as soon as possible. Once again, thank you, and I appreciate it, and I hope to see you the next time. still a little skittish about doing podcasts and stuff, but I think I'm getting a little more. I'm getting closer to them. That I might be doing them soon. We'll see how soon. But like I said, thank you very much, and look out for my next video later today. All right. Have a good one. Again, I'm Michael Caraccio, and just giving you my honest opinion. Have a good one.